It's the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Connie? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by a very special guest, Adam. How's it going, man?
It is very good. Thanks for having me on. I've been trying to get on, and I've been so busy in TV land. But thanks for having me on. And I see we've got Frog G in the chat. This guy he's a number one right there. Yeah. He's a number one. Yeah.
Super mod,
best guy. Did you see Jason Bascom's Frog G card that he did for Absolute?
Yeah, that is cool.
Isn't that dope? Yeah,
that is.
Yeah, I mean, I make the books, and I still haven't even gotten to that level, right? I don't have a card made after me. Frog G's already getting cards made after him, you know what I mean? He stepped it way up.
Oh, man. Yeah, I blush. Very, very cool. Yeah, that's a trip, getting featured as I think it's a trading card, or is it a print?
I think it was a trading card.
I had to take a look at that campaign again. Man, so many things to back.
Yeah.
As is customary on my channel, I kind of like to do a little deep dive. Love it if you take a moment to kind of discuss your quote unquote origin story. What things were you into when you were younger? Whether it be comic books, toys, TV, movies, and then what were the major milestones in your life that led you to become this powerhouse of entertainment?
I don't know about that far, but I think, what really started for me was Dungeons and Dragons, right? And then it led to this game called Vampire the Masquerade, and those really were what got me into this world of storytelling. And I should maybe say the very, very first origin was this book called The Dragons of Autumn Twilight by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. The Dragonlance Chronicles. For anyone out there, it's funny. I direct this show called Spell Singers for Magic, and Joe Manganiello, the big, muscly, awesome, rad guy, is on there. And he and I were talking about how those Dragonlance Chronicles are what shaped us, And so that's what started me, was down that pathway. And then, to be honest, I didn't think much of comics. I think that my first big milestone, because I kind of thought comics were just kind of dumpy guys in underwear. I didn't really think. I don't understand why this stuff is cool, guys. It's like look at Cyclops. He's got yellow underwear on and he's in the spandex. I mean, I don't understand how that's cool. And then it was Jim Lee who changed that for me. So I definitely owe my love of comics. I remember coming to a place called Dragon's Keep in Utah, and I was there going to get a Dungeons and Dragons book, and I remember sitting on this shelf, Jim Lee and Chris Claremont's X-Men, right? And I just looked at this, and Cyclops went from being this dumpy guy in underwear to he's all muscled, and instead of that the big one-eyed thing, he had these ruby sunglasses. And he just transformed these characters right before my eyes, and it totally changed things for me. And I'm like, oh wait, superheroes are cool, and that's what led me down the pathway. when I was a young, early teenager, and it's so amazing now because here in Burbank they had a statue erected for Jim Lee.
Yeah, I saw the Batman, right?
It's just stunning. It's a 6-foot bronze statue right in front of the AMC theater there. It's literally a block from my house. I walk to it when I walk my dog every morning.
Oh dang, really?
And it's this beautiful bronze statue, and every time I see it, it makes me feel back that moment when I first saw what he did to a comic book character in his art, And so I can't say that no matter how much time goes on, I'll be grateful for Jim Lee for that, And anyways, I still think to this day he's lovely and he treats people so well, but that was the beginning. And so then I started to follow artists, and I think that led me down, the image pathway with Liefeld and sort of that whole world and early comic books, and it got me into it. But then it was when I was reading, the sun is getting me here. So then I was at a convention. Actually, no, I think then there was another moment before that. I was doing Snakes on a Plane.
Oh,
I was doing the music video for Snakes on a Plane, yeah. And Sam Jackson came to set, right? And Samuel Jackson was reading 100 Bullets by Brian Azzarello. This is like what he was just like casually doing, right?
Okay.
And if you look at that music video to this day, he's reading 100 Bullets, volume number 9 in that video. And I remember looking at that comic book and I was like, what's that? I mean, because if it's cool enough for Sam Jackson, it's got to be cool. It's got to be cool. It's got to be the best. So that kind of spun it for me. I was like, I saw that there with Sam Jackson, and I was like, I got to check this out. And so then that was my first like real image in the new world of it, where it was, it had become a creator-owned books, etc. And I remember reading Brian Azzarello's 100 Bullets, and I was like, wait, there's this whole other world of non-superheroes. And that led me down this whole other pathway of the non-traditional comic books. And that really blew things up for me. And then it was Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, that first volume. When I read that I was like, wow, it turned me on to the literary value of comic books. And so I think those are kind of like my big milestones, that were like really like the depth of my love for the medium, right? It started with Jim Lee's pencils, Azzarello's, counterculture crazy book, and then Alan Moore's literary words. I was like, oh, this is what they really can be. And, and since then, obviously, I've, more other art styles I've come to love and other storytellers, etc. But those were the moments. And then, I work in television. That's my day job, is I write and direct television. And so in fact, I'm even writing an interactive series for Netflix right now, and producing EA's Play Live event, or broadcast side of it. And I love that. But I've always just loved being able to pick up a comic book. And so often I find myself at night, my wife wants to watch TV, so she'll sit and watch TV, and I'll read a comic book, right? Mm-hmm. And after a long time of that, you start to realize, man, I have such a deep love for this medium. And then when COVID hit, I guess I should say before COVID hit, a couple years before that, I said, I'm going to do my own comic book. And it was a book called The Eighth, and there was a storyboard artist I was working with, and he said, oh, I want to do a comic book too. So I hired him, and we started working on that for a couple of years. And then when COVID hit, I was like, okay, I should crowdfund this thing and try and get this out there. And I remember seeing Cyberfrog and some of these other books, and I was like, wow, people are really doing this, right? I saw these. I didn't even know anything about the indie crowdfunding scene at that time. April last year, right? Like I was like, I didn't even know, like. I just didn't even understand what it was, right? Because even when I talk to my friends who are in comic books now, who are just like go to the comic shop guy, they don't even. It's like another planet, right?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but then now I've just found such a love of it, and with indie books, and I saw this. Somebody made this post, this picture of the Hulk in the pit, early days in the 90s. Like, you remember when people used to make good comic books? And I responded back to this and said, they still do. Every day. If you go to Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you can find indie creators making them every day. And that's what's really, and then the people in the community have been so amazing. I remember like Brian Kreisgau was one of the first guys who really welcomed me in, and he's just been such a good friend. And now I've hired him to write a book for me.
Oh, wow.
And he actually hired him to write one of the short stories for Kill Journal as well. And so, and lots of others, people, Shay and Will, who works with Dan Fraga. And I feel like there's so many wonderful people in this community. There's people like yourself who are promoters, It's like back to like it's like we're in boxing, where you got the promoters, and it's people like you and Michael Bancroft and Shay, they're out there promoting. And it's, it's such a fun place to be. It's like, where else do you get to like talk about a panel in a comic, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
And it's cool, and that's one thing I appreciate about Rob, over who was often with Clayton on How to Draw Comics or with the Barton Brothers. It's like the amount of like discussion and thought into a panel, right? To the line work. It's like, I just love this, it's just really, it's in my heart, So for me, I think for a lot of people have a lot of reasons for being in indie comics, but for me, it's just hard. It's just like this is, and that's why I try to keep any negativity out of it, because it's like I'm doing this because it's just my love. You know, it doesn't pay as well as TV. It certainly doesn't pay as well as commercial, right? It's not any of that. It's like, and it's not like those aren't working for me. They are. But there's a special passion here, and especially amongst the people, and it's like, I love that. So I want to keep it pretty pure, at least for me. You know, I don't want to belittle anybody else's pathway, but you know, for me, that's what it is. So.
Totally. Oh yeah. So your first graphic novel, that was also crowdfunded? Was it on Indiegogo?
Yeah, it was on Indiegogo. So I was led to Indiegogo because I had done this TV show. Well, it started out as a web show, became a TV show called Will Wheaton's Tabletop. Oh. And I produced and directed 4 seasons of that show, and we crowdfunded season 3. And I remember the time the producer, Sherry Bryant, and myself, we were looking at between Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and Indiegogo offered us a better deal. And they were really great with us. And so when I came back around to crowdfunding myself, I kind of naturally went there because they'd been really great with us in the past. I didn't even know about any of the stories or struggles that have gone on between the two platforms, et cetera. I just knew that, they were really great in the past. And it seems like comic fans are there based on some of these books that are around. And so... And then now having done it on both, because I do my board games on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I love certain things about the Indiegogo platform, particularly the way it manages, the management of it, and the way it charges much, much better. And so, but anyway, so that's what got me into it. And yeah, and my first book is now finally out. It's called The 8th. This is the
that looks beautiful.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it there.
Whoa.
And awesome. And so it's this cool slip case, right?
Yeah.
And so here it is. And so it's it's a 224 pages. I went small for my first one, right?
Whew.
So it's this massive 224 page
Oh my gosh. Look.
Comic book, and it was great love. And this is the one I was talking to you about that I was working on for all that time. With Jordan Evers, and so here it is, and it's now getting to backers. It's on the boat right now from China, but I remember wanting to make it really special, and you can in fact buy this on the campaign now as an add-on. Let me just 1 second. I got this stream of light.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just killing here, I don't know if that made it any better, but
your eyes.
Yeah, but then but I wanted to make it a special experience too.
Yeah,
it's like you're gonna have to wait all this time, and so when you get it, it should be great, right? It should feel like, wow, that's the cool thing. So that's the 8th. You can get it on the Kill Journal campaign, and for everybody else who backed this, here's what it's looking like. I think Yotam, I know he's getting a copy of this. Who's on the chat here, and it's a beautiful book.
Nice.
And Jordan really really poured his heart into it, the artist, and.
And you got some spot UV on the cover too?
Yeah. So this is embossed here. I know it's always hard to see embossing right here on the slipcase, and then here it's embossed as well.
Oh,
and then then see all these tentacles, right?
That's cool.
They're all spot UV'd, and then her blade, you can see it like reflecting on
that's
it.
Wicked.
Yeah. And so there it is, and it's a really nice,
nice.
Beautifully bound book, and it really teaches you a lot when you get it printed and you start to see your colors and the way things all shape up. And so anyways, it was really this is the ride. So but that's the 8th.
Must have been like a huge adrenaline rush when you first got it, the finished product.
Yeah, it really was. Like when I first sent off the last issue, I got a little choked up because it was a couple years of work, Wyman, right? To get it, and then when it came back in your hands and you looked at it and you're like, oh man, you just it's a lot of feelings, a lot of efforts, and so
for sure,
that's cool.
Yeah. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Front D clarifies it's a trading card with D&D stats on the back.
Dang.
Nice. That's gonna be sweet.
Frog.
Looking forward to that.
I think I got cool stuff. You got cool stuff.
Welcome to Hex Island Comics. Hello again. Hey there. Greetings.
Hey.
Hey, looking forward to getting the 8th in hand. That book looks so good. Yeah, I agree with that. Welcome, Yotam Darkstar. Hail, everybody.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Yotam, he also has a mask too, Wyman.
Nice.
Ask him.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm kind of building up a collection whenever I can afford to. I've got one from, I think Only Death Can Save Us. I've got a hat from The Adventures of Kim Il-sung and Best Korea. I've got a cosplay helmet that Shay the Red made.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, actually 2 of them are from Shay Originals.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to adding this to the collection.
And then you see also Oliver, he's in the chat here.
Welcome, Oliver.
Oliver's a good guy. His book, Undead Border, Escape or Die.
Mm-hmm.
That's I've really enjoyed that. He did something good with that.
Yeah, they got some great stuff coming out of their company. Yep. Hey, Ollie, I hear your launch tomorrow is going to be fire. Here's hoping. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a good launch for sure. That's awesome. Thanks for dropping the links, mods. Check out the Kill Journal. Grab the 8th on the way out on Indiegogo. Definitely. If you haven't backed it yet, it's in demand. So back it while you still can, because it's a hell of a collection of works. And if you've already backed it, back it again. Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady. Make sure you're signed up for Cryptid Knolls. Indeed. Yep.
That's going to be a day one for me, Oliver. So, and then here is, what's cool is here's the Kill Journal. Right? Yeah, let's get that away from that sunlight coming in. You can see here, so it's a leather-bound edition. It's got these symbols here, which tie into the storyline, here as well. You'll notice them in the book. And it's this beautiful leather-bound edition. And now it's an in-demand. We're 17 pages in to the last issue in here. So we're literally down to the last 5 pages until it's done. This is just a white, this is the white for the cover proof, but it's super beautiful. We're going to add a gold to this number so it's easy to track the volumes. But this is a beautiful faux leather. This is what it's going to look like. And like for Yotam, this is going to be his world, right? He's going to be getting that set.
Oh, man.
Which is going to be a beautiful set. But the Kill Journal, it was my second graphic novel. I had such fun and excitement from the first one. And this is a story I've been working on for a lot of years. And this is the story about what happens, after the horror movie ends, right? After the credits have rolled and you have that group of people that's there at the end crying and the police are coming and their friends are all dead. Now, what do they do with their lives? Essentially, at the core of it, you have trauma survivors who are trying to cope with this world that's just been violently destroyed before them, and now they got to pick the pieces back up. And where that leads them is to the steps of St. George's Church. And he offers them an answer, and his answer is revenge. And he forms the Survivors Club, this group of people who've survived these revenant, some people call them slashers, in our tale we call them revenants, attacks, and now they're going out to hunt those revenants who took everything from them. And so the Kill Journal, in the story, St. George is writing the Kill Journal, right? It's like his, all this design work is based on, an old Catholic Bible. And so he's essentially taken his Bible, and in the back of it, he's taking notes about all the revenants they're killing and like all the rules they're learning about them. And so in a way, when you read the Kill Journal, you're reading a book where you can see the guy in it is writing the book you're reading. So it's kind of fun. So and if you look at the campaign, we have a little video there, I think, that sets up the world a little better than I can, for sure.
All right. Let's go ahead and play the video here.
Yeah.
There's a war going on, and I've seen the enemy. Revenants is what they call them. Vengeful souls back from the dead and hungry for blood. I can't fight the war alone. I need soldiers. Those who face the evil that lurks in the shadows. Those who've lost someone. Those with nothing left to lose. I can take their broken lives and reshape them. I can make them into something violent and holy. I can give them revenge, but I cannot give them peace. Only God can do that, and He stopped listening to me long ago. There's a moment that comes when they know whether they're a victim or a survivor. There's a war going on. Which one will you be?
Damn. Sweet. That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, one of my good friends and actors, Chris Wu, did the voice for that. One of my editors, James, came in and made it look good. Yeah, I think that, tells the heart of what this tale is, right? Is that it's like when people have traumatic experiences happen to them, they have a choice, right? And how they're going to cope with this trauma, right, Wyman? And in this case, the people who pick up the baseball bat and come charging are the ones that get recruited, right? That make that choice is who this story's about. So, and Jason Krager is my artist, who's been amazing, and he's been working like a dog.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so he's that book Hammer.
Yeah, Jason Krager's Hammer. Oh yeah.
Yep, that's right. So he's my artist, and to be honest, I had another artist on the book. They fell out right before launch. After doing 10, 11 pages, Jason picked up and redid the pages and made the book his own. And now we've, in fact, Failed Superheroes Club, my publishing company, has now acquired Hammer, and we're going to make it into a board game and support Jason on getting all the rest of the issues out and publish it. Yeah, so it's good. So we've, over this year, I've built a fulfillment pipeline, and it will shoot out, when the books arrive. When we have a warehouse here in California, and a pipeline from China to California, and also a Shopify store that will be up here in the next 2 weeks, and a whole world. And I also launched 2 board games last year, on Kickstarter, and that were really successful, and it was exciting to do those as well. So we're trying to create stories that can exist, in games and in comics.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Mods, keep dropping the links. It's greatly appreciated. Cryptid Knowles, welcome, Mananui. That was corny as all hell. That's probably my comment about back at once, back at twice, back at 3 times a lady. Look at that quality. Great looking book. The other Tom says sick.
Yeah.
Hex Allen says, yes, Jay Krager did a trading card for my campaign.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I had him on my show a few times as we were pushing his book Hammer. And man, I fell in love with his book and his sculptures.
Yeah, his sculptures are something else. And what's fun to see is you can see, here, these are the proofs that are coming in, right? Because I started to proof the pages early. You got to do these 8-page segments, right, for you to proof, so that you can get a look at the way your colors are happening, and do you like the gloss look or matte, etc. And so this is cool to see. These are from different issues in it, and so it's cool to see what Jason's work is doing. And in fact, I've got to show you some of his lines here.
So are some of those excuse me, on that proof poster, are each of the pages like comic book size?
Yeah, so if you look at it, so what they are is the way these work out. It's what they call, these are full bleed pages, so you can see, let me try to get this a little more effectively. So this is, this is actual size, right? Wow. And you can see you got the trim lines up here and here that are noted here.
All right.
And so, and these pages aren't necessarily connected in the story in this order.
Right,
I just
right,
picked
right.
different pages throughout to check colors, like how is this purple rendering, or this one here you're trying to check out your warm tones and et cetera to see how they're converting, because sometimes color is a tricky thing and can get you. But you can see here. But this is it's always tricky to get. Yeah, this here, you can see the way the reds are coming out, etc. So this is full size. So this will go in here, right?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah. What a trip. So you said you were also able to tell from the proof, how it looks on glossy paper versus other styles of paper, other weights.
yeah. So there's
textures.
there's a couple. Yeah, in fact, I'd love to hear it because I'm just deciding that right now. I went with gloss on the 8th, and I'm glad I did there. But matte has the advantage, and you could tell me in the chat, guys, what do you like better? Matte is like TKO Presents does their books in matte. The benefit of them is they're easier to read in broad daylight.
Right.
Because
yeah, that's a good point.
there's no glare issues. The disadvantage of them is the colors don't quite pop as well. So if you're reading in your house just by a lamp, matte versus gloss probably doesn't mean as much in regards to glare, but maybe the colors pop a little bit more. Is kind of the debate. And now it's not matte like newsprint matte, which really has a really limited bandwidth on color. That can only handle so much color depth in regards to like how bright something is or how dark something is.
Yeah.
Whereas gloss and matte both can handle pretty far spectrums of what is bright and what is dark in a frame before it goes all the way black or all the way white.
True. Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing, and I don't know what most people prefer, but I think gloss is the most standard. I think I shouldn't say the most standard, but I think is oftentimes the most standard is to get the gloss pages. And I think the thing about it is with gloss pages, at least nobody complains, right? Because it feels rich, right? It feels rich. So
Right.
that's kind of what I've been going back and forth, and I think that the matte test I had come in, I wasn't so. I don't know. I don't know that I loved it as much. The feeling like when you touched the page, right? That glossy page. And and that's an experience. It's like when I hold this, these pages, these inserts in here are glossy, and it's like when you hold that and you feel that, it's something nice about it. So, but enough of pages.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've settled on a preference yet on what type of pages. Usually my default go-to is matte, but I've seen a lot of books come in with glossy, and they look really nice too. So
Gotcha. So you're someone who prefers the matte look a bit more.
generally, yeah, but I think that is like carryover from when I do photography and I get prints made. I used to develop in a darkroom, but now when I have it done by companies, I get it done to matte because with my oily skin, I have a tendency to get fingerprints all over glossy. So
Fair enough.
matte is less likely to pick up on your fingerprints.
Okay, well, maybe that could be noted. Maybe I'm going down the wrong road here. So.
Well, just keep doing your research because I know there are a lot of fans of the glossy too. So
yeah, I know it's.
I'm not sure what way really. But you said that it worked out well for the 8th, so
it did.
That's something too.
Yeah. For sure.
Thank you, Maz, for dropping the links. Hammer Puss Riding Rocktail by Jay Krieger. Mad Max meets Nordic gods and knockdown drag-out fight to dominate the 9 realms. When the revenants have taken everything, what will happen when survivors become the hunters? Check out the Kill Journal today. And Asunder, a dark fantasy RPG, pre-order now. Asunder.backerkit.com, hosted pre-orders. I don't think we've heard of that one yet.
So Asunder is one of the games I launched on Kickstarter, and you can and so you can see I've got some of the minis for that.
Hold on.
Yep.
Ooh.
So
tabletop RPG.
It's a tabletop RPG. Dungeons and Dragons style game. It's a dark fantasy world, but it also has these cool minis that come with it as well. As you can see, these rad figurines. Right? So there's 9 that come with it if you get the full set.
Wow.
And it comes with 2 source books, which will be hardback, fancy source books. And it also has a keeper screen and custom dice and all these minis. So it's a full ride into the world of Asunder, which is a dark fantasy RPG, and it's set in a world without any metal, where people have formed symbiotic relationships with different parts of the world. So they've created bioweapons, and they have symbiotic relationships with their animals. And instead of a crossbow, you'd have a thorn spitter that literally lives on your arm, right, and shoots out thorns instead of a crossbow. Right, and then there are people who bonded with the insects of the world, so they can take on insect-like shape, or they can summon these swarms of insects that they can swallow and spew out. And so it's this world that kind of has this biotech experience, right, where you're dealing with animals and plants that have been engineered to be something more. So that is Asunder.
That sounds trippy. I've got to check that out, man. So many things to buy. What the hell?
I know, right?
Are those figures made of what are they? 3D printed, or are they resin?
So they're going to be fully. I'll grab a few others here. I didn't think it was going in so deep on them, but you can see here we've got a few more. This is the big daddy here. This guy.
Oh. Jeez, that's cool.
And then we've got this guy. He's a demon wrestler, right? and this girl here who's a skimmer from Sky City. This is one of those people I was talking about, how they can form the plants into weapons. Wow. So, so what these are the sample proofs. So the finals will be a gray.
All right.
Will be a gray PVC. But you can see even the bases are hollow because they're just the red sample, just to confirm the mold and etc. and to check the detail, to make sure everything is coming through.
Wow.
And just you can see, you get all these, even in her back, right, you can see all these spikes on her tail are coming through. Man. And the face of this man that she's got down here that she's strangling. And so it's... So it's a really, really cool piece. I'm super proud of what has come out of it. And there's not, you get 9 of the, So we've hit the whole. We've gone with we've done so many things in this last year. And what I'm really excited to start getting these things into the hands. My first game last year called Escape the Night. We had about 6,700 backers on that one. It was a real success. And granted, that wasn't just me, the star of my TV show. He and I made that game together, and we built the game based on our show. And he has 13 million followers on YouTube, and he's quite a personality. And he was promoting it, and it was his his brand, and so it did more than Adam can do. I should say alone for sure. But he and I built that game together. I got it manufactured, and it's cool. It's all been delivered to backers. It's this really high quality piece. There's been such good feedback, and it's really, it feels so good to see that. Just to see that in people's hands, and I can't wait for them to start getting this stuff. I can't wait for them to start getting the Kill Journal and the 8th. And so the Kill Journal will be going to print at the end of this month, the printers, and then which puts it probably July getting into people's hands. So.
Fantastic. And let's see here. Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting. Hex Allen says, I love the newsprint, but like you said, I won't complain about glossy pages.
Right.
Most people like gloss, though.
I think that's the more universal. I mean, you can never please everyone, with
Right.
any experience, but I think I want to try and hit, do the best I can for the most of the fans. So.
Yep. Page one.
Yay, page one.
Hola, mates. And Frog G says, but not glossy newsprint. That just looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's page one is cool. That's Jimmy Reyes. I'm assuming that's him on the other side of that. Great guy, Jimmy. Dragon Rage. I don't know if anybody's read it. Boy, I wasn't. The interesting plot twist about this half dragon family and their complexity. It's like I didn't quite get that from the campaign page, but I'm just like, and now as I'm reading, I'm like, I love this. So many good things people are doing.
Yeah, for sure. I literally just had him on my channel just about an hour ago.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, we were promoting their book. It's a trip. I had to back that one too.
I know, dude. I mean, I'm probably like 4 G's into indie books and games over the
geez, easily. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so fun, though. It's just so fun to get behind it. And then when it comes in the mail, it's like, yeah, it's... I mean, it's kind of like I quit buying anything else so I could just buy that,
Same.
So
Same. It feels like Christmas every month.
It totally does.
Yeah.
So great.
Excuse me. So this is a 112-page graphic novel, leather bound.
Right.
And is so when you got the that proof of, so you could get a feel for what the leather binding is like, is that does that actually come out to be the equivalent of what 112 pages would look like, that thickness?
That's right. So there's 112 pages in here to simulate it. Yeah. So it's actually slightly more. So the main story is 88 pages of story pages, not including covers, right?
Okay.
And then we unlocked 24 more pages during the campaign. 4 6-page mini stories that were written and drawn by different artists and writers. And so this has in it, so there's essentially a 4-issue story arc. And then at the end of each issue, there's this little 6-page mini story that tells the origin of each of the survivors. It tells the night they were attacked. Because I didn't want to, bog down the story in flashback, backstory. Like I want to get right into the action of the story. And then that way people could get those. And then it's fun to read it. Because once you're carried along with the story and then you read the little side story, it's fun because it doesn't take you away. So this is what it will be. So then imagine there's 112 story pages. And then on top of that, there are 8 cover images, 4 dossier stories, and 4 issues cover images. Plus, what I did for the inside cover was do the line art version of the cover. So essentially, really, there's 16 more pages on top of that. So there's 128 all in.
Oh, wow. Gee, that's a trip.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, so I know, and it's interesting because it's like you can see the red versus this red, you know what I mean? And this is because it's like with anything, I built that in 3D first, based on the leather color covering, but it's based on photos, right? And you don't get it. And then, but when you see this, it's so nice. And also, though, it's funny because like when I look at with my bare eyes at this, and when I look at what is on my camera, it's slightly different, right? It's brighter.
Right.
Yeah, but anyways, it won't disappoint. That's for sure.
Is that the shade of red you were shooting for?
Yeah, no, this is exactly it. So this is you can kind of see here, not where those sun
not where the dots
right?
are. No.
Yeah, but this red here, this is what I was looking for. Kind of this blood red color.
Yeah.
This is what you're really. This is what your book is.
Yes, indeed.
And so.
Sweet, man, that is so sweet. Let me see. And hey, Page One Comics. Well, thank you, Adam. Looking forward to our collaboration.
Yeah, I think Page One and I have got something we're cooking up.
Ooh.
We're cooking up behind the scenes here.
Uh-huh.
And, so I can't wait to. I don't want to burst the bubble just yet, but there's some exciting things to talk about. That's for sure.
Nice. Can't wait to find out what that is.
Yeah.
To Hexallen, Anna, so excited about your book. Sweet. Is Kill Journal still in demand? It is.
It totally is. It's totally in demand, and it will be. If it finishes, it'll be done into printers before the end of May, and then it will be back to the States, end of June, beginning of July, to then go out through distribution. So if you can see for this one, we also, you can also get it if you're somebody who's a digital issues guy. What we've done is I release the issues of the book as we finish them. So we have 3 already finished. So if you backed the digital or even the leather bound today, you would get the first 3 issues digitally right away in an email. And then as soon as the 4th issue is done, you get that delivered. So instead of the PDFs coming just a month before you get the physical, we were trying to do the digital in such a way where it was like you were collecting it at the shop, right? You were getting them right away. And so there was some immediate payoff for going with the digital experience. So.
All right. Thanks for dropping the links.
Yeah.
Crew. Yes.
Yeah, the Kill Journal does have some badass characters for What About.
Welcome, What About? Probably the most badass character in CG. Sweet.
We'll take it. So it's, I wanted to deliver something that felt like you couldn't get anywhere else. But yeah, those are the 4 cover art, also done by Jason Krager, and Steve Cannon has been doing the colors. Amazing colorist. I really am so happy with what he's done. And you can see his colors right there on those covers. This was a t-shirt that we had done, but we're done on those orders. Those are all in.
Oh, I missed out. Dang it. I was too late.
But what you did get is the mask.
Yep.
And I wanted to do something really special and unique for this. And if you scroll down just a little bit, Wyman, you can see the mask. And so I wanted it to be, for you to be able to feel the Kill Journal, right? Because it was tactile, like you could feel this leather down book, but then you could wear the mask of the Revenant, and you could feel that presence, and you could walk around, and you could feel like you were unstoppable, and you could feel even more connected to the world. And what's cool about a mask is a piece of art as well as it's an item, right? It has a use, right? You can wear it. You're the king at Halloween with that thing. You can go to any party or event and just scare people. But also, too, you can hang it on your wall. And I have a wall of masks in my house, and they're like, it's a nice piece of 3-dimensional art. So.
Oh, wow. You got a whole wall of masks?
Yeah. From, on my TV show that I did for 4 years, Escape the Night, I had a lot of cool masks made. And then I was just in Mexico recently shooting another commercial, and I got a luchador mask, And so I've been collecting masks and building a wall of them. And so... Right, so when these things finally ship, they had one done. 6x6 who's building these built me one, and then I gave it away to somebody on the pre-order list, right? And a raffle, and then there was a second one I need to give away, and you know who you are if you're out there, and I'm just waiting for, and then my mask maker then changed his method and then built them all out at once. So it's like slow step by step. So instead of like one being done at a time, he's doing he prints out 23 and then does one process across all of them, the next process.
Okay.
So unfortunately they'll be ready all at once.
Gotcha. All right. So it's like an assembly line.
Yeah, that's right.
Kill Journal character, with the hockey mask.
Yeah, it's Dylan.
All right. Yotam Darstar says hi. Oh, snap. You can get the mask. Yes, you can. That's it. Beauty of a character. Nice.
Nice.
Lucha Libre. Definitely. Yeah, this is a place to get the mask. Indeed.
Yeah.
This movie.
And I think I essentially just on his schedule, there's probably one, maybe two at most more masks that I could do. And then even though that I initially set it to 50, what's happened is because he started his big load because the campaign ended, I'm going to probably have to hide the perk after this. Next one, maybe two, and then because he just won't be able to get it done in a realistic manner. So.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh. Whew.
Yeah.
By golly. Wow. Yeah, so if anyone's still interested in that mask, you better get it while you can, because it's not going to be around much longer, as you just mentioned here. As an add-on, you are making available the 8th, which looks so awesome and badass. Can be added to any physical perk.
That's right. That's right. We got it right here. The real thing.
200
the 8th is 224 pages. It's here. You don't have to question whether it's done. It is here. It exists.
Man, so awesome.
Yeah.
What about says wear that mask out in public for COVID? Oh.
I think, in fact, that's what I feel too. I mean, this is the day and age in which you can wear that and people can't say nothing, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Hey, you told me I had to wear a mask. Well, I'm wearing one.
It's coming for you.
Got some more awesome artwork. Some interiors.
Yep. So I wanted to put in, at this campaign, you can read the first several pages. Also, too, on Global Comics, you can read the first half of the issue to see if it's for you. I wanted to make it available so that people could have a chance to really taste it. Like, I feel confident enough in the work that it can stand the reading test, right? I don't need I don't need to lure you into something. This has shelf life, so I wanted to put real pages in there. Now I have since re-lettered these pages so they look better from a lettering standpoint, as they were coming in so hot off the press before the campaign. But the dialogue is the same.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I was gonna say, lettering looks pretty good as it is.
It could have been better, So I've been learning a great deal because what happened with the 8th is my artist was actually doing all the lettering, lines, color, and lettering for till the end, till the very end, and then I picked up the last bit, and I was watching videos and learning myself, and I've really enjoyed lettering. I've really enjoyed it a lot, and it's a way to connect myself to my books in a way because I can't draw them, right? Or color them. I don't have that skill, but I can learn to letter in a realistic time frame. So I've been studying like mad, and unfortunately I know Photoshop really pretty well. But Clip Studio was very easy for me to learn, and its processes, and you just learn the videos, you learn about layers and piecing it together. And now I'm at the place where I'm rotoing things out, and you can cut out different parts, and you slip your lettering in underneath things, so it feels more embedded and. And there's just a lot more. And I've been building my own sound effects. And this app called Concept, it's a vector drawing app. And I'll write, screams or blams. I've built my own custom ones in there, hand drawn. And then
what is it called?
It's called Concept, and it's it's a few dollars. And I work on an iMac, and but my Surface is my lettering tool, and so. I just do it all on my Surface, right?
All right.
And so I just get in and I'm literally drawing them myself.
All right.
Lots of the effects and pieces, so that you can do custom fonts because you can draw them yourself, and it's in vectors, so you can do all kinds of fun stuff. And then once you get into Clip Studio, you can do all kinds of things.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
And so Clip Studio, at least for me, I know a lot of people. There's whether it's Illustrator or Clip Studio. I think in the end, there's no difference when you print them because they both work in vectors, because Clip Studio is cool. What I love about Clip Studio so much is that it is a painting program and a vector program, whereas Illustrator is not really a painting program per se. So that there's just more options of what I think you can do in the broad sense, though somebody who's probably much better at Illustrator might disagree with me. But that's been really fun to continue to learn that craft, and I'm constantly watching videos about it and working on it. And I do a lot of design work in general, just in my TV writing. You don't just pitch a TV show and hand somebody a script. You build out a deck with all kinds of graphics and fonts, and so it's been, it's part of my wheelhouse. And anyways, it lets me feel physically connected to my books.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
What about Mananui ads, or if you want to look like Casey Jones.
That's right.
Why does it say the 8th? Mananui is asking. Where did the name come from?
Oh, the 8th. So the 8th. It doesn't actually use it's spelled. So the story of the 8th is about a teenage math genius whose brother commits suicide, and he is struggling with how to control the world, as many teenagers do. Right? Things happen, and you're a kid, so you have such little control over it. And so his equations are like his way that he tries to hyper control the world. And he uncovers at this scavenge, because his aunt scavenges sites and sells things, they find this piece of ancient Sumerian armor. And in ancient Sumeria, there were 7 sages who brought wisdom and knowledge to humans. And then in this story, it's about the 8th sage. That armor belongs to the 8th sage. And the 8th sage was the destroying angel. And that's, of course, the part that I've made up, that I've added to Sumerian mythology and intertwined it there. And so this armor has been broken and placed throughout the world, and he's assembling it. And he is essentially becoming the 8th sage.
Oh my God. That's pretty sweet.
Thank you. So hence the name, the 8th.
Fantastic. And let's see. Excuse me. Frog G says, smash the like, ding the bell, subscribe.
Hey, welcome, Edwin.
Edwin, the ace is live on Indiegogo Acevedo. Yeah, Edwin, indeed. Oops. All right. Yeah, so some bitchin' looking interiors for sure. Let's jump over and check out the price real quick. Whoa. Uh-oh, my browser.
No problem, man. So what you can get now, is you can get this. This is $40. This gets you the leather-bound edition plus the digital edition, and it's right here for $40.
Cool.
Just the digital edition is $20, and then if you want the mask and the leather-bound edition, it's $150.
All right.
So I try to keep my perks real simple, so that there's not multiple variants, etc. It's just, hey, here's this cool thing, and then there's some other cool products that you can get with it.
Gotcha. And the monthly digital issues. So 3 of the 4 are completed.
Yep. So you get that right away when you're back on any level, and then the 4th one will be out this month. And
nice. So you already have laid out what your 4th cover is going to look like, right?
Oh yeah, the 4th cover is already done. So I can show it to you here now. So let me pull it up here. Okay, so let me. Oh, I did this on share screen. So can you see that there?
Yeah. Whoa.
So this is issue 4. This is the issue 4 cover.
Whoa, cool.
And so obviously this is it raw without all the titling that goes on it. But that is issue 4 cover. This is actually my favorite of the covers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is Dylan right here. This is the man whose mask you can get, and this is Brecken, who is one of the survivors. He's this Cajun swamp rat who has grave regrets and is now facing them. This revenant not only embodies like death, evil incarnate, but also his past regrets and sins. And so now he's kind of facing the physical manifestation of his past.
Wow. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap. How did I have that? Okay. That looks good.
Thank you.
And then, excuse me, as you mentioned, you get the Revenant mask and the graphic novel combined in one tier. Then there's only going to be just a few more left, and then you're probably going to hide this tier, right?
Yeah, just because, I was set up for 50, and if we'd gotten all 50 in the campaign, then we could have made them all at once. But he's now in it, and he's got 22 printed in the near 23rd there, Wyman. He's like scrambling to get into the mix. So he can probably only stomach getting one more in, and then we still make a reasonable deadline for people.
Right.
Because I just, I don't want to have everybody else have to wait on that mask. So.
Right. Yeah. When do you think you might be closing down the in-demand?
So the in-demand, I'm going to keep that rolling until our Shopify store is up here the next couple weeks. And then I'm going to transfer everything over to our Shopify store. And so it'll all run through there. And they'll be able to pre-order there. So that's the deal.
So you're going to have a Shopify storefront selling things like Kill Journal and whatnot?
The 8th and Asunder, yep. In fact, I've hired a marketing guy and a website guy and a Shopify guy and this small company that does this very kind of things. It takes small brands and so is building out the whole store. And in fact, my business partner and I have been proofing the site, and we've been getting different versions, and it's all underway. So. Holy
cow! You got all kinds of things you're juggling.
I know, right? But I want to make this a real publishing company that can stand on its own. It can generate enough income for it to survive on its own, and to continue to create great things. Take it from beyond a hobby to the next level. So.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Wow. What about says nice image on that cover for issue 4?
Thank you.
Frog G says, hop on it before you miss out. Indeed.
Yeah.
If you haven't backed this campaign, you better back it now because you're running out of time. Kill Journal is in demand. We are presently sitting at 410 backers, or 26,190 on the campaign. Pretty nice. And this is only your second campaign, right?
Yeah, this is campaign number 2. Yeah. Well, it's campaign 2 in comics. My 4 overall. 2 board games, 2 comics. But yeah, this is number 2 in comics. Yeah.
Holy cow! Pretty sweet.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So definitely check it out. If you already backed it, back it again. Why not? Back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times, lady. If by chance you don't have the means to do so, please share it all over your social media. Let's get some more eyeballs on this before it comes to a close. I am going to give you the floor, sir. And would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Yes, you can find me at Failed Superhero on Twitter. You can find me at Failed Superheroes Club on Instagram and Facebook. Any of the 3, I post to all of them pretty regularly, a couple times a week. Twitter, I'm the most active on in regards to conversation, and I respond to most everyone. And anyway, so yeah, find it. I'm also constantly posting art updates, my thoughts on other people's amazing graphic novels and shooting out a lot of positivity in this indie comic world.
Fantastic. Pretty sweet. You can find me at all the usual spots. You all know where. If you have any questions, check out the description in any of my streams. Thanks to everyone in chat. You guys are freaking awesome. And thanks to the mods. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. Be sure and back the Kill Journal. Oh, did I remember to ask, is Kill Journal going to be an ongoing series, you think?
Yes, the answer is, so this is volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's its own complete story, but it certainly ends with the beginning to the next. But though you can be satisfied with this. So then as far as, but yes, there will be volume 2, and I've already started to speak to the artist about what that will be. So
Awesome.
very, very excited for the future of the Kill Journal.
Do you anticipate, well, if it's not spoilery, do you plan on making every one of the volumes leather-bound red?
Yeah, so the thought is I would do, what I had debated was maybe swapping the colors. So maybe there's a red, blue, and orange or something like that, a different color. Orange is probably the wrong color. But I think what's probably better is to keep them in red, change this aspect of the back, and change the volume, change this. Something
Right.
slight.
Yeah.
Because I think when you think about it on your shelf, like to see 3 of the same color next to each other seems the best. What do you think, Wyman?
Yeah, I agree with that. You want some uniformity, something that pulls it all together, consistency, and the lettering will definitely do that. I'm not sure about the color scheme, but I think you're probably right that orange wouldn't really work.
I don't think so. I think what's kind of nice is if you have red, right, next to each other.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going with like 3 volumes. If you're going longer than that, then you might want to play around with a couple more colors.
Yeah. I think that 3 volumes is probably a good number for where we're probably going to land. And so I'll probably do them in red and do the change up of here and here was my initial thought. So, but if anybody has any other opinions, please hit me on Twitter and I could be convinced another direction.
Frog G says white leather with red splatter pattern could work, but that would be rather difficult to do.
No, it wouldn't be. You just build out a layer, change the gold foil to a red foil, change the leather coat to white instead of just the leather that it's printed on. You change it to white with red.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Frog. Oh, that's it, Frog. You've done it. That's where it's volume 2.
Shoot.
Volume 2, Frog. You just did it. You just did it. No wonder he has a trading card.
Oh, man. That's an awesome idea. That would work perfectly. Oh, shoot. Awesome. Yeah. Everybody, be sure and drop some comments down below the stream after it's saved and let us know what you're most looking forward to on the Kill Journal. And again, thank you to everyone in the stream. Thanks to all the mods. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks especially to our very special guest, Adam. You all have a great night. Been an awesome stream. Thanks,
guys. Appreciate it.
And y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sameti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.